I'm Carolyn Hancock, and this is Letters from Japan with very special invites into the homes of our new Japanese friends and extraordinary foods on Saturday, November 5, 1994. A little trip to Disneyland in Tokyo, 1.5 hours by train. What a surprise to see all the rides and the exhibits were just like in the States, with language being the major exception. Imagine hearing the Tiki Tiki Bird attraction in non-English. What a trip. We rode the Thunder Mountain Runaway car and Space Mountain, skipped Splash Mountain because the line was so long. Probably 90% of the crowd was teenagers, very few children, and certainly no old people like us. We saw the fireworks, Cinderella's Castle, Main Street. It's all mostly the same, although not as large as Florida. On Sunday, November 6, 1994, the owner of our apartment building threw a party at his house for the tenants. Seiki-san's house is next to the apartment. He would seemingly have no privacy because all the tenant windows look down on or into his house and yard. His wife had prepared a feast of Japanese foods. The thing to know is that not all Japanese food is raw fish. Many dishes are delicious, some similar to American food. The salad, however, was probably not similar to American. In addition to the usual greens, it contained thin, round, white or pink circles that were quite tasty, until I asked what they were. It was the tentacles of octopus sliced. Well, some family members came in, all very friendly in varying degrees of English-speaking ability. His daughter is 18 and attends a university in Tokyo. She commutes by train 2 hours each way every day, and we think we have long days. The Seiki family has been in real estate design and construction for 4 generations. Around the building and neighborhood, Debbie, the dog, has made the most impression. I woke up Monday morning, November 7, 1994, with laryngitis. Canceled my classes, but got better during the day. The head Aramco boss for this project is usually in Arabia, but is in town, so JGC gave a buffet dinner in his honor. JGC has a building separate from their offices, which has a cafeteria and conference rooms. There's also a gym and fitness building with 2 tennis courts. So the dinner was at the JGC Club. Lots of really good food and fruit. My standing joke being that if the fruit is free, eat lots of it. Bill introduced me to several JGC people. So although we had very interesting conversations, we ate very little of that good food. One of the young men who seems to be very well liked was a sumo wrestler in college. He's slim and trim now, though. Saturday, November 12, 1994, and we have a rare invitation to a home. Yamasta-san is a boss of the JGC project team. He invited Bill's boss, Gary, and co-worker, George, and Bill and wife to his home for dinner. Being invited to a Japanese home is rare. Men have little time at home, so that time is to be spent with the family. Also, the homes are usually quite small. We met at JGC, and Yamasta-san drove us to his house. It's a lovely two-story, fairly new home. They had converted the den into a dining room for the day, and the table was laid out with lovely china and ceramic ware. His wife and daughters brought out platters of sashimi and vegetables, but no rice or nori. We ate the raw fish just by dipping into soy sauce. After close to an hour, everyone was still talking. We visitors thought we had eaten the main meal, but surprise! His wife brought out individual platters of 2 kinds of cooked beef. Very, very good. And time went by. Out came platters of fried chicken with lettuce and tomatoes, little bowls holding spinach leaves, tightly wrapped, then shaped in a flower. Surely that was all, but no. A huge bowl of spaghetti and shrimp. This was very good tasting. A bowl of lychee nuts, which is a fruit, cold and delicious. Then individual saucers of sliced apples with some kind of sauce. The traditional hot green tea with its accompanying sweet. But still more to come. Chocolate mousse pie. All during this time, Mrs. Yamasta did not eat with us. She sat down at the table a few times, I guess in between cooking sprees. She didn't talk at all. With all the different foods to eat, my throat got irritated and I went into a coughing spasm. It turned out to be lucky because it gave me a chance to talk to Mrs. Yamasta. Her English is slow but pretty good, so I asked her to join me for lunch one day. Yeah, I guess this is probably the food eating day or week. On Wednesday, November 23rd, Japanese Thanksgiving Day. Thanks to the worker day, not associated with the American reason for Thanksgiving. Linda, one of the Aramco wives, put together an Aramcon gathering for Thanksgiving dinner at her house. Everyone brought their favorite dishes, so we had an international assortment, including turkey. Linda had told me she was making a white bread dressing. Cornmeal here is packaged in envelope-size plastic bags, but I found enough to use for a southern cornbread dressing. I also made deviled eggs, a special request of Bill, and the Mississippi apple nut cake from a recipe my sister-in-law gave me many years ago. Everyone raved about the cake, and no doubt it is one of my favorites too. Jim and Gary peeled and cooked potatoes and made, would you believe it, 25 pounds of mashed potatoes. No pecan pies, because you can't find pecans in Japan. After dinner, we stayed for a word game, new to Bill and me. Gary, Bill's boss, is a language nut, so he usually wins that type of game. After I got the hang of it, my score caught up with Gary's, and when Bill realized I was closing in on Gary's score, he subtly did what he could to help my score. I leave you with my thought for the day. Kindness is like a boomerang. It comes back to you. Thanks for listening. Remember to follow, and please let your friends know about Letters from Japan.